Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. I love it when these lefties, and it's always lefties, these lefty politicians virtue signal to show how down with the kids they are. Yeah, baby. Hanging around outside the precinct. Yeah. Because we know what people think. Yeah. Right? And then it comes back and it bites them firmly on their well deposited arses. And we've got one now. Sarah Jones. What a complete female equivalent of a bell end. She's the new Minister for Policing and Crime, works in the Home Office, and she's been given her step up, if you will, from the backbenches, and now she's somebody. She's a junior minister. Oh, joy. She can sit there and, think, oh, I'm on my way. Next I'll be a senior minister, then I'll be Prime Minister, then I'll rule the universe. No, love, you're done. You're finished. Your first job, and you're done. Because nobody's going to take a word of what you say seriously. How on earth can you be the Minister for Policing and Crime when you've worked with a radical group which campaigns to defund the police? Yep. Apparently, all crime is now going to come to an end because Shabana Mahmood is the Home Secretary, and so she's going to clamp down and there'll be no more crime. So we don't really need a crime and policing minister, but hey, But in 2022, Sarah Jones, who'd just been shuffled into that role, arranged a meeting in Parliament with representatives from Stopwatch, which is a coalition of various extremist groups which seeks to hold the police to account. Nothing wrong with holding the police to account. But this was when she had the policing brief as the shadow minister for policing and crime. You could have seen this coming, Starmer, you dick. Anyway, Stopwatch campaigns to defund the police and withdraw consent to policing. In other words, they want to create no-go zones in cities for police. And we all know what that means, don't we? It means no police in Muslim areas. Its executive director, a man called Habib Kadiri, that in arguments familiar to Americans, I suppose this will be, that politics, or leftist politics anyway, that by defunding the police, more money can be pushed further upstream to organisations that might be able to change this person's behaviour at any point. No? What kind of lunatic? Oh yes, don't come and police the Muslim areas, and we'll take all the money that you've saved and we'll make sure he doesn't do it again, Officer Honest. What a load of shite. They want to stop and search, right? They say that stop and search powers should be removed. Let me tell you now. The biggest killer of young black men in London is other young black men, and the weapon of choice are knives. If you remove stop and search, you're effectively saying it's okay for black people to kill each other. By having stop and search and by racially profiling, and this is the argument, if you racially profile and stop more black young men, chances are you're going to catch more knives and you're going to reduce the murder rate of black young men. Argue that out amongst yourselves. Is it racist to target black young men to stop and search if it means more black young men aren't murdered? It's a quandary. I'm not answering it. I'm asking the question. Let someone else answer it. But they say that they pose the police actively pose a threat to people's lives. We're generally not arming our police, so I don't see that. That they terrorise marginalised and vulnerable communities in many and novel ways. I agree that. Absolutely do. They systematic brutality and incompetence. I'm not going to go with the brutality, but certainly the incompetence. And that they're a racist boys' club for those who despise the working class. The class isn't a race. Working class is not a race. What utter blather. Although they are on the opinion of, 1312. When you've got policemen, 5 armed policemen arresting a comedian for a tweet, and yet, if your house is burgled, you're not going to see a cop. It kind of lets you think this is where policing's gone in this country, and which is why nobody respects the police anymore. Oh yeah, you've been mugged, you've been beaten up. No, we can't do anything about that. Yeah, if house has been burgled, can't do anything about that. Here, Sarge, a 53-year-old woman has said something a bit rude on Facebook. Get the SPG out, 15 wagons. Make sure they're all armed, you know, and that's exactly what's happening. All right, I'm pushing that a bit much, but it ain't far off. I had 2 cars with 4 cops. For what? Clearly satire. Anyway, she also reported about Stopwatch, and it pushed out and said, we've developed very strong links with Sarah Jones. This is Stopwatch again. The people who want to stop the police and ban the police and get police-free areas. The campaign has close associations with prominent Labour politicians. It was launched in Parliament by the Labour MP, Bel Ribeiro Addy. And then Katrina French, the group's chief executive, was also the chairman of the Stop and Search Community Monitoring Framework, which sounds like a communist piece of shit to me. And that was for Sadiq Khan's Mopak office. Yeah, so it's all lefty. It's all certain communities, isn't it? She's now a Labour councillor in Wandsworth. No doubt about that. Well, there we go. So we've now got a police and crime commissioner who wants to defund the police and who wants the police to not be allowed to go into certain areas. Yay. That's going to be such a success that, it'll revolutionise London. Crime in London is bound to fall almost continually overnight. Watch and see. What a pile of absolute horseshit. How is the Labour Party filled with wankers like this? They say a fish rots from the head, though, don't they? Make your own mind up. Bye.